echoes through time. A woman of unmatched power, mystery, and wisdom, her story is unlike any other. She ruled a mighty kingdom that stretched from South Arabia to the edges of Africa. Her name was Bilqis, the Queen of Sheba. But her story didn't begin with her. It began with a bird. A small bird with a sharp mind and a sacred mission. A hoopoe. A creature capable of understanding human language, tasked with scouting distant lands. It was this bird, Hudhud, that changed the course of history. Prophet Suleiman, peace be upon him, had an army unlike any army the world had ever seen. Made up of humans, jinn, animals, and even birds. The wind carried his command, and the creatures of the earth followed his orders. His army was a force that struck fear even into invisible realms. But on one particular day, as the army gathered for inspection, something was wrong. Hudhud was missing. The other birds noticed it first. Quiet whispers passed between the wings, "The prophet will be angry. Where is Hudhud?" And when Suleiman came forth, he noticed the absence immediately. His tone was sharp. "Why is Hudhud not among us? I will punish him severely unless he brings me a valid excuse." But Hudhud was far away, deep in the land of Sheba. His tiny heart beat fast as he watched an entire city gather for something strange. From high in the trees, he saw men and women wearing bright garments, assembling before a golden temple. And then, she appeared. The Queen of Sheba. She stepped down from her throne with grace, leading her people in a ceremony of sun worship. She lifted her hands to the sky, and her people bowed before the blazing sun. The hoopoe trembled. He had seen idolatry before, but this felt different. This was not a tribe. This was a kingdom. He raced back across deserts and mountains, his wings aching, his mission clear. When he returned, the army surrounded him. A sparrow shouted, "Where have you been? The prophet asked for you." But Hudhud didn't wait. He rushed to the tent of Suleiman, trembling, afraid, but with important news. He lowered his head in shame and respect, and with a soft voice, he said, "O noble prophet, I bring you news from a land you do not know. I found a people ruled by a woman. She sits on a magnificent throne and has been blessed with wealth and power, but her people worship the sun instead of Allah. Shaitan has made their deeds seem pleasing to them." Suleiman listened carefully. This was no small report. It was a message that would alter the course of his mission. He said, "We will see if what you say is true. Take this letter to her, and watch how she responds." Hudhud carried the sealed royal message, flew back to Sheba, and dropped the letter gently into the queen's chamber. It was no ordinary message. It began with, "In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Do not be arrogant before me and come to me in submission." The queen read the letter in silence. Her eyes moved over each word with growing realization. This was not just a letter of diplomacy. This was a divine summons. But she was wise. She gathered her counselors and advisors. Some called for war. Others for caution. Yet in her heart, she knew this was bigger than her throne. She decided to meet Suleiman in person. As her caravan set out across the sands, Suleiman was already preparing for her arrival. He turned to his assembly and said, "Who among you can bring me her throne before she arrives?" A powerful jinn replied, "I can bring it before you rise from your seat." But another, more righteous man, who had knowledge from the book, said, "I can bring it in the blink of an eye." And just like that, her magnificent throne appeared before Suleiman. When the queen arrived, she was shown the throne. It looked familiar, but she couldn't believe it was hers. Then, Suleiman invited her to enter a palace made of crystal. She thought it was water and lifted her dress to cross. He smiled and told her, "This is but a palace of glass." Stunned, humbled, and moved by the signs, she finally spoke. "My lord, I have wronged myself. I submit with Suleiman to Allah, the Lord of the worlds." But this is where the mystery deepens. Who was she, really? Some legends claim that Queen Bilqis was not entirely human. That her mother was from the jinn, and that she had powers beyond human comprehension. Others say her beauty was so surreal, so otherworldly, that it inspired myths of divine origin. Could it be true? Could a prophet marry someone from the jinn? Islamic teachings remain silent on such myths. The Quran presents her as a wise, intelligent, and noble human being, one who recognized the truth when it was shown to her. The rest, perhaps, is poetry. So why do the legends persist? Maybe it's because she was so powerful, so beautiful, so wise. A woman ruling in a time of kings. A queen who defied norms, bowed to no idol, and yet found peace in Islam. She remains an icon of wisdom and grace. A symbol of a mind that questioned, a heart that listened, and a soul that submitted. And all of it began with a small bird and a message that echoed through the skies.